Welcome to Ethelo. In this project, we will use Ethelo to engage members of the public around the design of a community center. Each participant will use Ethelo to identify their personal favorite design for the project. Ethelo will then aggregate everyone's preferences to find the specific community center design that will have the broadest public support. You're looking at the landing page, what an individual participant would see when they clicked on a link inviting them to participate. Each participant begins by learning a little about the decision that must be made. Here, participants can read a bit of background about the community center project. Ethelo works by expressing complex decisions as a series of simpler decisions. On the left, you can see we have broken the community center design into 6 different issues. Participants can visit any one or all of these decision areas. We have also identified a number of rules that a community center must obey in order to be workable from a practical perspective. One of the advantages of Ethelo is that it allows groups to collaborate on decisions that may be constrained by cost or other practical requirements. In this case, as in many situations, we are constrained by money. There is a maximum capital expenditure of $10 million for the facility, and also a $50,000 annual limit on operating costs. We are also constrained by space. Any community center should take no more than 35,000 square feet. Any potential community center must satisfy these rules in order to be actionable. We will see that this still leaves an enormous number of possibilities. Each participant will use the various Ethelo tools to find their favorite choice among all the possibilities. We proceed by clicking the Next button. On the survey page, we can ask a few questions of the participants, in this case, to gather some demographic information. We can ask any questions we want here, like a normal survey. This information can be used later to ensure accurate sampling and fair representation. In this case, we've also included a comment thread where people can share their hopes and dreams for a community center. On the next page, we can see all the issues that are up for discussion. We might begin by selecting Construction and Design. On the Construction and Design page, you see the various options for construction style. The first option is to use a standard construction approach, which costs $350 a square foot and has an operating cost of $1.50 a square foot. This area here can include different kinds of rich content, such as images, videos, PDFs, etc. As a participant, I vote on this option by indicating how much I might support or oppose it. In this case, I might strongly support it. I can read other people's comments, reply to them, and make my own comments. As I vote on the options, the Ethelo algorithm will update the top choice to show the design elements of my favorite choice for a community center. Right now, it's showing the minimal possible design, but as we proceed, we will build it out. The top choice area will also display the key metrics of the project. The Ethelo algorithm will ensure that whatever design is shown here obeys the cost and space constraints. In this example, I might prefer a LEED Gold construction approach, which has a higher initial cost but lower operating cost. If I vote to give this option total support, then the top choice will update to show LEED Gold instead. Notice that the net cost also increases correspondingly. I can vote on the remaining construction and design option, the LEED Platinum building, and I can also add suggestions for alternative construction approaches, read other people's suggestions, comment on them, and like them. If someone has added a good suggestion, the host or administrator of the process can approve it. In that case, it becomes an option like the above, which people can vote on. We then proceed to the next topic, which was recreation and activities. Again, we vote on all the various options. Here, for example, the weight room has a size of 3,000 square feet and it will cost $20,000 to equip it with weights. Ethelo will track all the different variables, cost per square foot, size, extra costs, etc., and use that information to analyze the overall cost of my top choice. Ethelo makes sure that whatever shows up as my top choice respects the constraints set out at the beginning. It's possible for the top choice design to include more than one of the options from this page, unlike construction design where we could only choose one. However, it's not possible to get all of the options on the page to show, because then we would exceed the total available square footage. In this way, we proceed through all the different topics. Some of the options, such as a cafe, will generate revenue, which reduce the net operating cost of the facility. Ethelo tracks this as well. Under financing and taxes, participants can indicate how open they are to other ways of bringing in revenue to finance the project. By increasing the financing, we can afford more facilities, such as a swimming pool. We can also consider ancillary projects, such as co-located housing, which would bring in revenue and reduce the overall cost. We could consider both types of housing, mixed and market, and also the number of units. After each participant has gone through and voted on the options, they arrive on the Weigh Priorities page. Here, they can adjust the importance of the various topics. The way Ethelo works is that we'll try harder to give people what they want on issues they weigh as being important, at the expense of what they want on issues that are not so important. Everyone has the same amount of influence, so like dividing a pie, they can distribute their influence amongst the different issues. Here, for example, you can see what happens as I adjust the relative importance of different issues. When recreation and activities is weighed equally to gathering spaces, we have 3 recreation and activity options and 4 gathering space options. However, if we make recreation and activities much more important than gathering spaces, four recreation and activity options, and 2 gathering space options. In this way, participants can fine-tune their top choice and create the community center they would most like to see personally. Every participant gets to play the role of decision maker, evaluating options, balancing priorities, doing trade-offs, and finding the best outcome for them. When a participant is done and they're satisfied with their top choice, they can proceed to view the collective results. Ethelo finds the best community center design by looking at every single possible scenario and analyzing each one to see how strongly it was supported by the group. In this example, Ethelo analyzed more than 270,000 potential community center designs. Ethelo then rank orders all the potential scenarios in order of strength. When it does this analysis, it takes into account group dynamics and the importance of fair outcomes. For example, the support distribution on the top shows a small group of highly opposed people in orange and red, a few highly supportive people in green, and most people in the middle. Ethelo would view this as a weak decision because it's highly polarized, which increases the probability of conflict and the risk of failure. Ethelo would view the decision on the bottom as much stronger. Even though the average level of support is the same on the top and the bottom, the one on the bottom is much less polarizing. Research shows that decisions are more likely to succeed when people are similar in their levels of support. Ethelo looks to find strong decisions that are fair and will get the unified support of a group. Here, Ethelo is showing the key information for the most strongly supported community center design. We can see that although one person was opposed to this top-ranked design, most people were quite supportive. We can also see the specific details for the design, the construction style, what recreational facilities, gathering and performing arts spaces it would contain, as well as financing options. We can also see the key metrics for this community center design, including how big it would be, its construction and operating cost, we can confirm the design obeys the constraints that were set out in the beginning. Ethelo does this analysis for every single one of the 270,000 designs. If for some reason this particular top-ranked choice is not the best, the decision maker can look at the second-ranked design, which is also quite popular, as is the third. Any one of the top 10 or 20 ranked designs would be quite popular. We can actually scroll through all 270,000 designs and look at each one. For example, we can scroll right to the end and look at the least popular design. Here we see design number 270,612. It is workable. From a cost perspective, it satisfies all the constraints. However, even though it may make sense from a business perspective, it would be a bad choice because it's extremely unpopular with the community. Ethelo allows municipalities and developers a new approach to engaging communities in facilities design, licensing, and other property-related decisions. It delivers smart results quickly and fairly, and builds community support for strong decisions that will stand the test of time. If you would like to try this or other Ethelo demos, please visit www.ethelo.com. Thank you.